That's Booby.
And Vita and Chip and Culpy. What?
Shout out to the big homie Bosswap. Is that his name?
I guess that's how you pronounce it.
Nobody who doesn't like Imagine and listens to rap music can be a good father. Shout out to the big homie.
Okay, we weren't offended.
Hey, some people just born for stuff. I'm born for this stuff. I enjoy it.
That video got an overwhelming amount of comments that people are not happy.
I feel like being
goings on.
Well, it was from, okay, so if you want to know what we're talking about, go to My Story Life.
Yep.
And then go into the comment. Is it your most recent video?
It is the most recent video, but I should say what the name of it is.
Go into the comment section of the most recent video.
It's called Answer Me This.
Listening to that damn rap music.
Well, you should watch the video.
From the hood.
People have been enraged, so you might get angry if you
All
watch
I
the
need
video.
is one life, one try, one breath, I'm one man. What I stand for speaks for itself. They don't understand. Don't want to see me on top. Too egotistical. Talking all that slick shit the same way these bitches do. Wonder what my secret is. People will move on you only if they know what your weakness is. I have one. Too late to grab guns. I'm blasting because that's the rule, homie. Thought I wouldn't have that ass done. Fooled you, homies. What you call it? Infinite brawl. Eternal souls clashing. War gets deep. Some beefs are everlasting. Complete with... What?
I will say, though, that I think that people...
Brothers knifing each other up
I
in
need to get
prison yards.
stricter with the kids.
Drama, where does it start? You know the block was ill as a youngster. Every night it was like a cop would get killed, body found in the dumpster, free will a hustler. Purchased my range, people throwing dirt on my name. Jealous cause fiends caught the work and complained. Bitches left me cause she thought I was finished. Shoulda knew she wasn't true. She came to me when a man caught a sentence. Diamonds are blinding. I'll never make the same mistake. Moving with a change of pace, lighter load. So now the kid is straight. Swelling my melon cause none of these haters can have it. Telling police, how could a kingpin squeal? This is crazy. I'm on the right track. I'm finally found. You need some soul searching. The time is now. Alright?
As
Okay.
much as it's in his mind, it's amazing that he can fit more.
Alright.
There's so many raps that you just know.
Alright, so this is Emperor.
Babe, why are you talking so loud?
I don't know. I just, the taurine just hit my system.
You were very energetic this morning. I'm not used to seeing you like this in the morning.
Okay, so this is,
Okay, this is cool because this is... Jan made this lyric video, and then he uploaded it to his YouTube channel. I'm not sure what other stuff he has on his YouTube channel. Oh, no. Sorry.
Alright, this is Emperor Alsvartr.
I'm not sure what else he has on there, but I will put the little link in the description so you can check out his channel.
And
In the-
Alsvartr. And it means the oath.
Okay.
Alright. Let's go!
Go. Oh, that's nice right off the bat. Oh. That's pretty.
I like it. It's getting dark. We haven't done Emperor in quite some time.
Nope.
We know somebody from that band that played with Emperor.
We do.
Huh?
That's true.
We have connections. That's what happens when you listen to rock music.
So I love the beginning.
Yeah.
That musical beginning.
I was surprised.
Crazy.
I was surprised by because it started out very soft and beautiful and melodic, and then the chord progression got darker.
Yep.
As it went on.
Yep.
But again, it's kind of like a creeping up on you change of,
Yes.
which I like that stuff. I don't like random things out of nowhere. And look how progressive we are.
I like when they talk in that kind of creepy-ish sort of voice. What?
It's
You know what I
really
mean?
yeah, I do. It's really funny to me what we perceive as evil and what we perceive as good as far as tonality. So if somebody says, "I love you very much and you are the most important thing to me," I'm like, "Oh my god, that guy is evil." But if somebody says, "I hate you and I'm gonna kill you in your sleep," it's like, "Oh, that guy is good." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's very strange how that works.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Like, I wonder where we get those associations from.
I don't know.
What if some guy was sick, with tuberculosis or something, was telling his wife, "I love you very much,"
Well, then you'd have a different idea about
Well, then you have context.
it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
There's this, I was reading this book, Sword of Truth series, and there's this guy named Dark and Rawl. And he is really, really bad character, terrible, evil person. But when I would read him and I would hear his voice in my mind, it was never raspy or anything. It was always very super intelligent and clear and smooth and creamy and but he was evil as hell.
Yeah, that's interesting. When I read stuff too, I don't think of it in a creepy voice. I always do it in
Yeah.
like a smart sort of
Sinister type of, but you kind of know something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's off.
Yeah.
The person is very bright and nice and stuff like that, but not really,
something's wrong here.
But you like the tuberculosis type voices.
When it was in this? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The talking through the little... I like it. I'm I wish he would have done more of that in the song. I don't know what we were singing about, though.
Well, the first song is called The Oath.
Yeah, Jan, you tricked us.
Well,
Snuck two in there.
Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk is the name of the songs kind of blend into each other. It's kind of like that. I forgot the name of that black metal band, but the songs were 1, 2, they were into each other. So the first one is The Oath, Alsvartr. And then the second one is Ye Entranciperium. So something about being entranced. Okay. I think the first one is kind of like an incantation. Hark, O night spirit, father of my dark self. From within this realm wherein thou dwelleth, by this lake of blood from which we feed to breed, I call silently from thy presence as I lay this oath. May this night carry my will, and may these old mountains forever remember this night. May the forest whisper my name, and may the storm bring these words to the end of all worlds. May the wise moon be my witness, as I swear in my honor and respect of my pride in darkness itself, that I shall rule by the blackest wisdom.
Whoa.
O night spirit, I am one with thee. I am the eternal power.
Yeah, you're
I
right,
am
it
the
does.
emperor. Winds and storms embrace us now, lay waste the light of day. Open gates to darker lands, we spread our wings and fly away.
The music at the beginning, didn't it sound like, remember when we did that, actually, I need those videos so I can make that other video to put up on my channel. Remember we went to that night thing?
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was like, we should put a clip of that in this.
Yeah! That's right! Go ahead, Brother Nathan! Yeah! That's right.
I don't know if that's too much work for you, but...
It's not too much work, but I want them to go to my channel to see it.
Well, like a 2-second clip, you know.
Sure.
But, yeah, like that type of prose, you know, it's kind of like medieval.
Yeah.
And,
What was that? Medieval times.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, this is, you know, like, this is a common poetic motif in the Bible where you talk to nature to witness what's happening.
Yeah.
So, like, was it Moses in Deuteronomy, this day I called heaven and earth as witness against you,
Right.
yada, 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 yada,
Yeah.
and that you've heard the words of the word of this covenant, yada, yada, yada. And then, you know, in Isaiah, it's the same thing where, you know, God calls on the moon to witness that the people, you know, did something, and, you know, the personification of nature is, but the way he did it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was evil as hell. You know, he's calling on probably the devil. But you can't say
Father
it.
of my dark self.
Yeah. I call silently from my, you know, may the wise moon be my witness. That's a pretty poetic line.
Yeah.
I swear on my honor and respect of my pride and darkness itself that I shall rule by the
Blackest wisdom. That's what I was like,
God almighty. You know, like, Solomon, there's like a very
We
mysterious...
were just talking about wisdom last night, like that, you know?
What do you mean? We were?
Well, we were talking about Solomon and how you were saying, like...
Oh, yeah. People trying to cut babies in half and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not the typical Vin and Sori conversation that you think of.
No, we weren't talking about abortion.
No.
Actually.
No. We were talking about a silly child. Okay. So, stop for a lot, I shouldn't say that. Why?
I think it was... Well, we were talking about the things that people do, you know, that puts kids in positions that are very difficult for them. When adults don't look out for the best interest of children, and they'd rather cut the child in half than actually take care of the child.
There is a curious phrase in the Bible about Solomon that is very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that you've never heard it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do I like it?
I don't know if you'll like it or not, but it's very interesting, and then the Quran actually expounds on the ideas and stuff, but it's really, really very interesting.
Should I stop the recording?
Yeah, you should. I can't find it. Something about Solomon with dark sayings or dark arts or something like that. There's this
Dark what?
Dark arts. There's this whole like, I don't know if it's mythology or not, to be honest with you, knowing Solomon, but that he was a wizard and the Quran, I mean, explicitly says it, that he was cavorting with the jinn. The jinn are what we call demons or genies.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, in the Quran, he was a sorcerer. I mean, he asks Allah for forgiveness later, but he does it through sorcery and dark arts and all this stuff. Yeah. So there's this whole.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then in the Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism.
Yeah.
And Solomon is like a key figure in Kabbalah because.
Really?
Yeah. There's this whole tradition of Solomon like getting into dark arts and all this stuff. There's a particular phrase, I think in the KJV it's like dark arts or dark sayings or something like that.
Yeah.
And it can be translated as difficult questions. You know, dark in the sense of the meaning isn't explicitly there.
Yeah.
But then there's like that connotation of he was involved in, you know,
That's interesting.
he was like one of the main. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, that's interesting.
So, because of his wisdom, you know, like, the idea is basically he became addicted to wisdom. He wanted to know everything, and so there's this whole, you know, theology of darkness or whatever that he.
Yeah, but God gave him. God asked him what he wanted, and he asked for wisdom. So, how much more wisdom do you need besides what God gave him?
You have, you know, you have the Satan character, right? And he's a seal of wisdom. the devil's called extremely wise, both in Ezekiel and in Genesis. So if you combine wisdom with a dark heart, you're going to get dark wisdom.
Oh, weird.
Which is what he says here.
Yeah.
The emperor guy, we're talking about, I will rule by the blackest wisdom.
Right.
So it's very interesting. It made me think about Solomon, and he's, Solomon obviously had a very dark, side to him, because he was cavorting with all these pagan women, and then he incorporated, paganism into Yahwistic worship. That's why...
That's true. How could that not affect him?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why people are like, oh, Yahweh was married. And I was talking to one of my atheist buddies a couple of years ago. He's like, Yahweh was married and blah, blah, blah. And of course, in the Bible, Yahweh's married to his people. But there are archaeological finds that have Yahweh being married to Ashtaroth.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And, my atheist friend thought that this was some big thing to disprove the Bible. I was like... No, because Solomon cavorted with a bunch of pagan women and was trying to synchronize their religions, so it makes a bunch of sense.
Yep.
And that's why you have this term called Asherim in the Old Testament. And the Asherim were these poles that you would set up to dedicate to the goddess Ashtoreth. And so, remember, I am.
Yeah, I just thought it was called. I thought they were called Asherah.
Yeah. In the English, it'll say Asherah poles.
Yeah.
But the Hebrew just says Asherim, because
okay.
I am functions like an S.
Okay. All right.
So it was Asherahs, and it was understood it was these poles or whatever. And so they would marry Yahweh to Ashtoreth, and then you would, do all your pagan...
I heard there were similarities between that and the maypole.
I don't know what a maypole is.
It's a pole that they put up, and then they attach strings to it, and then the kids grab them, and they go around the pole singing a song.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, look at the Christmas tree in Jeremiah.
Yeah.
They put all the tinsels and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Do you think of that every time I put up a tree?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm like, Christmas!
Yeah, for sure.
Holidays!
Yeah, and I'm just thinking Jeremiah. Jeremiah would have burned down our house.
Do you think that it's bad?
No, I think the materialism in Christmas is the problem. Nobody's worshiping a tree in Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
The original context of Jeremiah, people were literally worshiping the tree, and that's why they were putting the tinsel and stuff. That's not why people are doing that with the tree. So that doesn't worry me on a theological level.
Okay.
What worries me about Christmas is a worship of materialism. And if Jeremiah was around to see how we function on Christmas and Black Friday, he would write about the presents and the mentality of just, unbridled capitalism and all that jazz. He wouldn't worry too much about what we're doing with the tree. But of course, you got these people that are, self-righteously judging people about the tree, but are materialistic as hell on Christmas. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so it was really interesting, because I'm like, Solomon could have sang this song, like,
that's crazy.
First of all, lyrically, this is just beautiful writing.
Dude,
this is just beautiful writing.
Was Solomon the one that lost his mind?
No, that was Nebuchadnezzar.
Oh, that was Nebuchadnezzar. That's right. Okay.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, it was. It was. The writing was beautiful, and really, I liked the dramatic atmosphere it created.
Yeah, that's the thing with black metal, is that, it can get very serious and dramatic and raw, because you're dealing with these incantations and stuff like that. I am the eternal power. What's interesting is he's calling on this night spirit or this dark father or whatever. But then he says, I am the eternal power, I am the emperor. I guess what he's saying is when he becomes one with the night spirit, he then becomes the eternal power, because he believes that the night spirit is the eternal power, which obviously we don't. But ruling by blackest wisdom is such a brilliant line.
Yeah.
It's scary as hell if you think about the implications, but it's brilliant, because there is a sense in which Satan is incredibly wise, and what's interesting to me is, you know, when I was watching those LaVey interviews, and like people were talking to him, and he would just make mincemeat out of them because he was so intelligent.
Yeah.
You know, and you know the as far as LaVey goes, you know, the jury is, you know, like one of our friends, you know, is posting about the Satanic Temple and it's like a $250 fee or whatever to get in or whatever. It's like, what do we do with the money? And the answer is, we do what we want with the money, and none of your fucking business. You know what I mean? It's like, well, yeah. But and there's debates about LaVey, whether he took any of it seriously or whatever. But
really?
But be that as it may, like, he was obviously intelligent, extremely intelligent guy. If you read any of Crowley's stuff, Crowley is kind of like the predecessor to LaVey. Extremely intelligent guy. And so, like, one of the things that I look for if you're dealing with somebody like that's really like truly satanic, like deep into Satanism, like they should be very intelligent. Like, I've never, like, if you think about it, you couldn't have a dumb person that's like deep into satanic stuff, because the devil is extremely intelligent. And he's too prideful to like really use a dumb person. But you almost never associate like hyper intelligence and hyper wisdom with Satanism. It's always this and the head spinning and the crazy voice or whatever. And they never tell you to look out for, somebody's like incredibly wise and perceptive. Be careful. Like, you never hear that. But in reality, like, that's, you know, all the hocus pocus stuff and the dressing up and running around a fire and all this stuff. Like, if I was a devil, I would like,
I see.
I would
It's
do
like
that
that
stuff
voice
just to
system.
make fun of people. Like, look at these idiots.
Yeah.
But like, when you really come down to it, it's like, you know, Carpathia from the Left Behind series. Really intelligent guy, you know, extremely intelligent dude.
Yeah, I don't remember much.
Well, just
I
think
just
about
remember his demeanor.
just think about the Antichrist, right? Like, smart dude, very good looking, that type of thing. But I thought it was. I always wondered to myself, like, do these people feel anything when they perform this stuff? Because it's like, I know, like Vatane, for example, they really believe in what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Like the show itself is a ritual, and like you were saying, when you had that like off stage thing behind the scenes, and you saw Behemoth doing their little pre-show ritual before the curtain came down, you should have took a clip of that.
I would have, but my camera was dying on battery.
Yeah, it's a qadar of Allah. I mean, there must be some reason, but they were doing their own, you know, pre-show ritual and you know, whatever. So you always wonder, like, do these guys feel anything when they're
Right.
Because I've been in situations where you get like this sudden surge of power, and it's not
Good.
well. No, in a couple situations it was very good because I needed it in that specific moment.
It's like a runner's high.
But like, you get like spiritual power. I mean, you've been in situations where you've just been like, you get this rush of spiritual power, and then it's like you can destroy anything.
Yeah.
Like that's in your way. And people who tap into that, it's extremely addictive. If you know, with us, it's like we've also had spiritual experiences where you're flooded with the love of God, and so that's a more of a high. But if you're a person who's like, power is your ultimate whatever, and you get a taste of what spiritual power is like, that is extremely addictive. And so, what do you think about?
Well, I'm thinking that when, like as a Christian, when you get like flooded with the spiritual power, like you have an understanding that like it's coming from something other than yourself. You know what I mean? Like that God is like using you. But I would think that like, you know, if there's a, you know, a satanic thing and you're getting it like that way, there is a sense of, this is yourself, you're empowered, you know what I mean? That's coming from it. That I would think that.
I don't know.
That would make it more addictive.
Well,
because I don't know.
He's
like,
not saying that it's coming from him. he's saying that he's unifying himself with the Dark Lord and the power is coming
Yeah, but
from them.
you've talked to people, I'm sure, as have I, where they like, yes, but they feel like they're in control of that power, so they feel like that they're greater. You know what I'm saying? Like they get like.
Well, I think the difference with, as a Christian, when you get flooded with spiritual power, it's because there's a specific mission that you have to accomplish.
Yeah.
And you need that power in order to accomplish that mission. So the power is like a means to an end. It's not an end itself.
Yeah.
Whereas in this context, power is the end. You just want the power.
Yeah.
So that you can express your prideful whatever and impose your pride on the planet. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what makes it addictive. Like, you know, if you see power as the ultimate and you get a taste of it, it is extremely addictive.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
can see that.
And so, yeah, I mean, I've also heard stories where it turns on them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so they initially have it and you're like, whoa, and then and then it turns on them.
Yeah.
And then they're scared to death of it, and then they become the slave to whatever you know, spirit there is. But I could definitely see how a person could, because you know that something supernatural is happening. And it doesn't happen to me all the time. It's happened about, you know, I don't know, probably 10 times in my entire life. You know, you probably more, because you've always been a lot more sensitive to that stuff. But I can imagine, like, that whole, because Satanism is not about hocus pocus per se. It's a lot about self-exaltation and not being weak and all the rest of it. I mean, it doesn't even matter if you're theistic or you're a philosophical Satanist. It's the same thing. It's about self-empowerment. And so if you're on the theistic side of Satanism and then you feel that supernatural power, it's like, whoa! You know, so you know, he's calling on this stuff, and
yeah, I think you're right with the whole I am the eternal power, I am the emperor.
Right. And then you wonder who's talking in that moment. Like, I am one with the da-da-da-da, but then it could be the spirit talking them back and saying, I'm the eternal power, I'm the emperor, and all that. And of course, you know. So, you know, it's just really, really, really interesting how that works, because, I was thinking about Solomon. I was like, oh, there you are. Yeah.
You'll have to find that thing.
Yeah, it was
later.
really annoying. I was looking for it.
Yeah, I want you to find that later, because I'm
like I said, there's a lot of Kabbalistic literature about it. The Quran explicitly
It's weird
says
because
it.
I feel like I remember you talking about it at one point.
Yeah, it's like one of the most obscure verses of all time. Talked about Solomon and dark arts or something like that.
But I mean, maybe you didn't.
Because the guy was arguing that Solomon wasn't saved or whatever. That was his argument.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've had this discussion.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so,
look. You'll have to find it later.
I'll try to look it up, inshallah.
Yeah.
But so that's song 1, and then I'm looking for song 2 here. Song 2 is Ye Imperium and Trans Imperium. So that's like a combination of being entranced and then imperial, like an entranced empire, an empire of entranced people, drawn toward these lands again, seeking death and sacred soil. I ride the longing wings of my blackened soul. This guy can ride, growing stronger once I enter my empire beyond. Behold my coming, the full moon right above me, enlightening my realm in a silvery glow. Yet the shadows crawl beneath my storming sky, guarding treasures from forbidden light. Still remember, though, ages ago it seems, the first time I entered the gates,
The revelation of ritual death.
by which I became divine. Sacrifice of the life I had among the flesh of the light. Whew. The flesh of the light. Now I enter again, stronger yet amazed by what I see. In ecstasy I mock the world. Suddenly I memorize, asking what I left behind. Nothing can I ever comprehend with my longing never end. Never. See, there it is. So he sacrificed himself. He's got this kingdom, but he still has longing. And it will never end. There it is.
Yikes. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
It's interesting in Christianity because you have these experiences with God where, you know, here it's like he has to sacrifice himself in order to attain his kingdom, right? And in Christianity, what we're saying is God sacrificed himself in order for us to attain the kingdom.
Yep.
But he's not satisfied with the power that he has.
Yeah.
And there's still some sort of longing that he has. But what's interesting is that I believe in Christianity, you'll be always longing for eternity. And the reason is because, let's say that your cup is like, 5 gallons. And your spiritual capacity, you can only hold 5 gallons of God, right? And so you've got like 4 gallons, so then there's like a 1 gallon thing that you're longing for, so then boom, you get it, that's heaven. So now you've got 5 gallons, and then God expands your thing, so now you've got 10 gallons, and then eternity, he fills it up to 10, and then expands it, so your capacity for having more of God expands.
I think if I was to compare it to something that like happens that we're probably all familiar with, it's like if you go running or you do something where you're super, super thirsty, and then you start drinking whatever liquid it is that you're craving, water or Gatorade or whatever, and as you're drinking it, you're still longing for more, but it's satisfying something in you as you're drinking it.
Right.
It's that simultaneous satisfaction with still a longing for more. So it's not like being parched where you're like, water.
Right.
But it's this longing at the same time as being satisfied.
Well, it's a longing that leaves you full. There's longings that leave you empty and longings that leave you full. And that's the difference. That's when
longing is what makes the satisfaction more satisfying.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. It's a longing that leaves you satisfied, whereas there's another longing that leaves you completely empty. And he doesn't really look like he's satisfied here. And the lesson is, it doesn't matter how much power or whatever that you have. You were created for something even bigger than because the world of darkness and all that, we believe it's real. It's out there and it's vast and it's grand, sure, but it's hollow. And it's so crazy to me. But I was listening to one of the comments and the guy's like listening to you guys talk is so strange because he thinks we're crazy.
Oh yeah.
You're talking with invisible people and da.
Yeah, I can feel that was weird.
So I get it, but I'm not a naturalist. I'm a supernaturalist.
Right.
So there you are. Yeah, really, really interesting stuff. This is one of those, we always talk about the human experience type of thing in the human condition. And the vast majority of them stop at the soul level in metal. But when you get to black, I think that's why I'm drawn to black metal more than anything else.
Oh, really?
It taps into the spiritual.
Yeah.
So the body is what interacts with the physical world, and the soul is what interacts with the emotional world, and the spirit is what interacts with the divine world, is kind of how I look at it. And this right here, it's really commentary on how the human spirit is longing for the divine spirit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you can have as much physical pleasure as you want, or you can be in a perfect emotional state, and you can have as much spiritual power as you want, but if you're not with God, then you're not going to be satisfied, period, point blank. Done. That's what I think. Anyway, brilliant song, beautiful artistry, beautiful lyricism. This was kind of like a prog. See, I thought it was only one song, so I'm like, this is kind of like a prog song. 'Cause it's like going a bunch of different places. But it's not, because it's 2 songs.
Right.
If they would have made it all one song, then I'd be like, this is kind of black metal prog.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
And I guess we can count them as one song, because I guess they're supposed to bleed into each other. What do you give it?
Well, I didn't realize also that it was 2 songs, so I don't know if the first song I would give like a 9.5 to, and the second one I'd give an 8 to.
Okay, so 9.5 and 8. Okay, so that's...
Because I like the first
That's 17,
half,
17
and then the
and a
second
half.
half I didn't really like that much. So...
17, I think that's a 9 average.
You might even be a 7.5 on the second half, I'm not sure.
It's a 9 for me. I liked it a lot. Mostly because of the lyricism. That lyricism, especially in the first half of the song, was amazing. Mm-hmm. Really, really amazing stuff. So, there you are.
So the lyricism in the first song.
Yeah. It was good enough.
So you liked the first song better than the second one as well?
No. I like the musicianship. I like the musicianship and the organization of everything in the second song more than the first song. But lyrically, the first song was just so strong that, there you are.
Okay.
All right. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.